What is success? If you ask us, we would say that choosing a right career at a right time and doing tremendous hard work. Hello friends, welcome to CEC Gurukul Lectures. Dear friends, we believe that our efforts to provide you lectures on different subjects and streams have always been a guiding force. Every time we make an effort, an wholehearted effort to do something new for you, our endeavors are appreciated by you. We are pleased to announce that from today onwards, we are starting a new segment on career counseling called Pratibha Samvardhan. Every Thursday, we would be meeting, discussing, and taking guidance on career-related issues from eminent career counselors through this platform. Friends, do you know your resume is one of the most important documents to be designed when you talk, think, and plan about your career? A resume is not just a 6-letter word, but a complete picture of who you are, an image of how well you have created yourself. Therefore, it becomes very, very important for us to know how to design a resume. Yes, you are inquisitive enough and you would be wondering how. Then we must tell you that today we are going to discuss on how to build a resume. For this session, we have an eminent career counselor, Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj. Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj is President and CEO of Center for Career Development. He is an IIT, BHU and FMS alumni. He has 34 years of experience in working in MNCs and Indian companies. He is a serial entrepreneur and he has launched serial startups. He has also served as academician as well as he is a known motivational speaker. So friends, let's welcome our guest Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj and let's try to understand how to build our resumes and why these resumes are very, very important. How these resumes plays a crucial role when we opt for a career, when we search for a job, when we face an interview board. Now, I would like to welcome again our guest, Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj. Hello, sir. Welcome to the lecture.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Very good afternoon to you, everyone. Today's topic is a resume and how to build it and get it job ready. It's very important because as a college student at this stage of academics, this is very important for every student to build a strong foundation which is paramount to their career. So I would suggest we should focus on building the resume. Then second is reflection. Third is fact, representation. Fourth one is impact. And fifth point I would like to say how to present the entire facts and impact on your piece called resume. So it is a generally white piece of paper on which it is written. So before that, I would say that career building is very important exercise and it involves two things. One is your career goals which you are planning to have in your life. What do you want to achieve? That you should have very, very clear picture in your mind. You should have a clear path to achieve. And then you can shortlist the industries and the role which are aligned to your goals. For reaching there, I would suggest you should start building your skills and soft skills. One is hard skill, which is the technical skills or the educational skills, the academic background which is required. Second is soft skills, which is part of every role in the corporation or the kind of job which we are looking forward to. So I would suggest that once we start focusing on our goals, the journey becomes very clear. So you are clear that where do you want to reach? If you do not have clarity, meditate a bit, discuss with your peers, discuss with your seniors, discuss with the counselors in your college or the universities, or you can reach out to us. We can guide you and what can help you reach the ideal scenario. For future, you should always look forward to the journey which is 10 years ahead of you. let's say you are in final year or third year today, you should plan your career that where would you be next 10 years. So you should add certain values to your resume by doing some certification courses which are aligning you to reach there where you want to. The kind of soft skills which are required, for example, interpersonal skills, communication skills, language is very important part of any job. Similarly, leadership skills. I would emphasize that you should also participate in some kind of summer camps or kind of workshops where you're exposed and you learn some leadership skills as well. So let's start with what are the basic elements of a resume. So resume is written on a A4 sheets, preferably on one single page or maximum 2 pages. One important point I would like to suggest, when you are sending your resume, the recruiter gets only 6 to 7 seconds to shortlist the resume they are looking forward to. So in those 7 seconds, you have to create an impact. So what you should do different so that you are shortlisted for that particular role for which you are applying. So on that paper, first there are basic generic elements which are required. One is your name, your complete address, your email ID, your mobile phone. So that is on the top of the sheet. Then comes your education and followed by your qualifications if you have some soft skills or hard skills which you have taken, maybe certifications or certain experiences which you have done. Then comes the job experience, where you have worked, what kind of the name of organizations and the number of years which you have and your role and detailed about your responsibilities. Then comes co-curricular activities. It is important that you should have every element ready so that if you are planning to apply, you should work on your co-curricular activities as well. After that, extracurricular activities, whether you have been part of leadership team, whether you are participating in some sports, whether you have achieved certain other achievements in life, maybe extracurricular activities in speeches or participating in various college activities, where you have represented the college, universities, national level, zonal level, etc. So those also plays important role in your selection. Then comes your personality. You should reflect your personality as what are other things other than academics you are doing and other than co-curricular activities, as what are your hobbies, maybe you love traveling, maybe you are doing some voluntary work with NGOs. So those should be very, very clear on this paper. Now coming to the how to create very important part of this, that so that you are shortlisted. So let's start with the basics. You should use the A4 size sheet and you should write end to end. The most there is a formula for this, like what we said, top loaded and front loaded. It means what are the top achievements you have done in your life. For example, you have succeeded in getting first position in certain things. So that should come on the top. For example, it may not be in a calendar kind of serial. You should be able to do that because first thing is important. So if we have sheet of paper like this, and this is 4 quadrants. So we should focus on when anybody is reading your resume. So top left is the most important part. So all the important parts of your resume should reflect on the top left. So when we start reading, everyone starts reading from the top and the left side because we read from left to right, right? So this is very important part of your resume. So this is first thing which you have to by heart and in your habit you have to inculcate, that whenever you're going to write, you need to customize your resume. For example, you are applying for a job in a multinational company for the role of a computer engineer. So you should plan your resume according to the KRAs which are given in the advertisements or the placement agency which is asking you. You should ask what are the KRAs required for this role, and you should plan your resume and customize your CV in that manner. So one thing, names and numbers are very important part of your resume. For example, you have done something from IIM Bangalore, IIM Ahmedabad, a certification course, so that should reflect on the top. It is very important. You have secured 5th position, but out of 250, so you should write 5th position in 250 students. So this becomes very catchy point when a recruiter is scanning the resume. So third thing I would like to say, that do not leave any blank spaces on the page. Otherwise it looks that you are lacking somewhere. So you should frame sentences so that your bullet points are covering line to line. Maybe just one finger kind of space is left at the edge of the page. So these are the basic points I would like to emphasize on. When we select a candidate, we look forward to the name, the address, the background, where the candidate have studied from. If you have studied from very good institute, you should put it on the top. If you have scored good marks, maybe in 12th, you should put that on the top. So top things on the left side. So these are the very important thing. So remember that top loaded, front loaded, and left side. So this is one formula. Second is, when you are putting your points, use bullets and reflect every sentence of your achievement in format. Always reflect numbers and what, for example, like we are using certain facts, what is the impact of those facts? For example, I have studied in IIM Ahmedabad. So what has been the impact of that? So you should write, if you have done some internship, so what has been the impact of that internship? So that should be very clear in each and every sentence you are writing on this paper. I would also suggest then when you are completing, you should get your resume get proofread with a friend or maybe someone who's having good English. So we have seen that candidates are making very silly grammatical mistakes and English mistakes and spelling mistakes. So those should be avoided. So for that, there are tools available. There are some online softwares are available right now. ChatGPT can also help you right now, which we have. But plagiarism you should avoid. You should not copy and paste. It should be your personalized and it should come from your heart, so that when you are shortlisted and you appear for interview, it should match what you have written, and your personality is reflecting that also. So I would like to invite any questions if you have.
Yes, students would be calling us, but I have a few questions with you.
Right.
As you have clearly mentioned that how the front loaded and top loaded, it makes a difference. Yeah. Now the question is, how does a font make the difference when we are making a format, in a particular format when we make a resume?
Right.
How does a particular font makes a difference?
Definitely. So other than font, like you should use one single font throughout the resume. And you should use the bold point to highlight the top loaded points. When you are emphasizing on certain points, you should make it bold. And maybe you can change the size of font also, but you should use one single family of the font throughout the paper. You should not use multiple fonts, so that creates confusion in the mind of the recruiter. Second point I would like to say, use actionable power verbs, powerful action verbs. For example, you want to say that you have handled a team of 50 people. So instead of that, you should say, I have spearheaded the team of 50 people. I have achieved, let's say, 10 crore rupees of a goal or the sales. So you should say that with the efforts of my team, I could supersede the target and achieved this. So that is the power words which you should use. So that will be helping you. So we cannot change the facts, but we can use these techniques to make your resume powerful.
Wonderful. And one more question that is appearing to my mind when you were saying about pet, we should use powerful words. And you also talk about plagiarism. Now, the question is because we are wishing or aspiring for a particular job and our resume talks a lot about us.
Right.
So, how important it is for one to be original? The person, how a person can portray himself or herself that whatever she has written is original about her or him.
See, because I always advise candidates that they should meditate, visualize their career goals, and gather all the information what they have done in life, then scientifically plan these ways. So one is starting with their qualifications, experience, and soft skills, certifications, and what they would like to do. So that objective has to come out very clearly, and you should, once you write it, maybe you can get it polished with some of your friends, or maybe you can use any software on the internet. They can to improve the language, and maybe they can go to their teachers or language teachers.
Very true. Yes, sir. So, what's more about to learn from you about when we talk about creating a resume? So, what more you want to discuss and share with our students?
So creativity is another important aspect. Like when you are strategizing for a particular role, so you should keep that thing in mind, and you should research before writing your or sending your resume. You should search about the role, you should search about the company, find out the various information which are required, and in what field the company is doing and their emphasis is on. So maybe you can spend couple of days before writing that resume, do an in-depth research of the company and the role, and then gather that role, assume that you are going to get, and what you will be contributing to that company and that role. So once you write that, so your objective will come out very well, and once you are able to express that objective in words, which is the first line of your resume, the chances are very high that you will be shortlisted.
Wonderful. So the creativity is the another important aspect
Yes.
which is required to be taken care of.
Right.
What are the other elements of which you would like to discuss and share with us while writing a resume? What other elements should we keep in mind?
So one is like I said, the basic elements are you should write extracurricular activities, you should emphasize your leadership skills, what experience you have gained over the year, and what has been the impact. So one is if the entire journey of writing a resume, let's divide into three parts. Reflection. Reflection is you reflect on your career goals, insight, create that thing in your mind that I am going to reach there in my career journeys, and these are the kind of roles I want to see, and this is the role which is aligning with my career goals. Second part is the fact. So gather all the facts, and then you keep impact as a this fact has created this impact in my role, whether as a student leader, whether as a participant in a particular team, whether it is a manager in your team, or as a individual salesperson, or whatever role you are handling, what impact you have created. Or let's say you have done some certification of Microsoft, or there are some Google Garage and courses are available. You are doing some online course to improve and enhance your profile. So what has been the impact of that? What contributed this in your life? So that has to come out in words. So if you are able to reflect those facts and create that impact, the chances are very high the resume will be shortlisted.
So there is one more question as we talk about the resume writing in the beginning, that it should be of 2 pages. What difference does a resume of a number of pages and a resume of 2 pages? What difference does it makes?
See, there are certain points and every paragraph should have equal value, so that a recruiter and the company weighs you as an overall personality, that you are not only good in certain parts, you are overall good in all the aspects of life. You are good in academics, you are good in certifications, you are good in your co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, and your experience. So you should give equal weightage to all the paragraphs. And as I mentioned, if there is some shortage which is coming, let's say you want to say, I achieved first position in this particular competition, and the line is not going to the end. So you should fill in the, I participated in Delhi in these competitions and I achieved first position out of 100 candidates. So that line is complete. So blank, you do not feel any, spaces on the pages, blank spaces.
Well, so we have a number of resumes, I mean, format of the resumes when we search online, and thousands of resume formats are there.
Right.
And then we are confused which one to opt for. So, what do you think? How one should decide that this format should be taken or not?
See, as far as there have been lot of researches, and Ahmedabad has done fantastic work on that, and if you go on their website, or you may find the kind of format which is applicable, which they teach to their students about how to write resume, I think that is one of the best in the industry.
Wonderful. And one more question that is appearing into my mind right now, that we have habit of writing objectives in the very beginning of the
Yes.
resume.
Yeah.
How far it is, fruitful for anyone?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you are having that reflection in you, that what you want to achieve in life, and you are able to communicate that to the recruiters, then they will be able to connect well with you. So if your objective is aligning with the role they are having in their company and you are applying for, so if both the thing matches, so that is the customization. For every role you should write or customize the objective according to the role. So that chances of you getting shortlisted are very high.
Very true. And one more question, questions after questions are appearing, and I believe that all the students who might be watching us, they would be thinking that I'm asking appropriate questions on their behalf. Sometimes what happens if we talk about an individual, for example, an individual, and the individual has the habit of changing his streams.
Right.
Firstly, he was doing sciences, then he switched to the arts, and so now how difficult it is for the recruiter to select the right candidate, because his resume can talk about it that he has career fluctuations. Now how one can manage all those stream all together in single resume, that it doesn't show the reflections in his personality?
Yeah. So that is very good question. I appreciate that because this is very, very common thing nowadays, because people do change streams. We have seen people taking science and then switch on to arts after some time, or maybe art student going for some language, or maybe commerce or business studies. So this is a very common trend today, because people want to experience today's Gen Z, what we call generation, which is today going to be employed, are very experiential kind of, they want more experience instead of going by the tradition. So this kind of, and it is very common thing. So recruiters also weigh that it's very common to understand that younger generation is trying to experiment with their careers and trying to find their path until they are satisfied. So on these things, but if they are able to justify that, let's say they have a problem, but how did they overcome that problem, that is reflected, so there is no problem in getting selected.
Wonderful. Sir, there is questions after questions which are appearing, and I wish to ask all of those questions, because
Sure.
we believe that this is a medium CC Gurukul through which we can ask questions on behalf of the students from experts like you. Now we have this tendency also that we make a table format, a mathematical format, when we talk about our educational qualification. For example, we have passed 10 plus 2 from this board with this percentile, with this division. Is it appropriate? Does it works, or we should change the format?
See, both, if you're writing in a line, that is also okay. If you are making it a tabular form, it is equally works. So I don't think that there is any challenge or any particular format. But of course, if you have boxes, but there should be, if you are writing, let's say 10 things which we have discussed in your resume, if they are able to give the complete weightage and the equal space, so that looks good on the paper.
So we believe that our students are benefiting from this session, as Mr. Bharat Bharadwaj has locked to talk to you regarding how to build your resumes, and you might have lots of questions in the mind also. So dear friends, we would ask you to watch us continuously, because we are there for you everywhere, every time. So keep watching us. Thank you.